Well, thanks for staying with Morning Live. And we are talking still about the resignation of John Moodey from the Democratic Alliance yesterday. And of course, Mr. Moodey, he has placed the party firmly in the spotlight, particularly with regard to the DA's leadership challenges. And briefing the media yesterday, Moodey said that he was facing disciplinary action for defending Mmusi Maimane in public. The DA, of course, saying that they will release John Moodey's disciplinary charges at a media briefing later today. Well, John Moodey joins us right now to talk about these charges and, of course, his resignation. Mr. Moodey, thanks so much. Welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning to you and to our viewers.
Mr. Moodey just spoke to Prince Mashele before the 8 o'clock news to get his view on what is actually going on in the Democratic Alliance. And to paraphrase what he says, the DA has become extremely hostile towards black leaders, and there is no place for black leaders within the Democratic Alliance. Would you concur with that sentiment?
100%. Especially black leaders who have a mind of their own and who speak, who do not speak from a script. I think when I joined the DA, they used to have to hunt for black leaders as tokens and window dressers. But yeah, we grew the party. And I must say that when Helen came in, things changed for the better. We became more attractive to black leaders. And she helped, under her leadership, we helped to grow the party. Her change of stance, after having had her tiff with Mmusi is something that totally I can't understand. But then, of course, Mmusi started to exercise his responsibilities as a leader. And I've been through that as well. You need to toe the line. But this is it. We really started to grow a DA that I was very comfortable in and could defend. But let me tell you, with this new leadership, these right of center liberals who have captured the party, quite frankly, I don't feel at home. And over the past year, it has become really untenable to stay and remain in the Democratic Alliance.
So let's flesh that out, because when you say it has become untenable now, you talk about the DA perhaps at the beginning looking for people who would speak off script, for puppet leaders, as you were, Prince Mashele, using the very same phrase of puppets. What are you saying about those who choose to remain within the DA, yourself included? Because I have to ask, when did the situation become untenable? When Patricia Bedalil left, when Mmusi Maimane left, even before that, when Lindiwe Mazibuko left, when did that situation in the DA become untenable?
No, remember one thing. There was a project, and I've always been one of those who spoke my mind. I joined the DA because it was a vehicle I could use to assist and in trying to bring about a better South Africa. And I will always be grateful to the DA for that and beholden unto the DA for that opportunity. I've always been an independent thinker. And for that reason, of course, I clashed all the time. But that is politics. I am not going to speak here about Lindiwe and why she left, and why didn't I leave when she left. The person needs to understand that we had a project once. Let me just explain this to you. We had a project once on a leadership program that was initiated by the party. And it was how do we attract black into the party? And I said, we need to look at the people that are being promoted in the DA to be the face of the DA at that time. These people who twanged, who came from Model C schools, when in fact we should be using and promoting people such as Makashule Ghana, Kumera Malefo, and those who are authentic in our Africanism. Of course, that project of mine, or my submission, was dismissed. So yeah, it is. Mmusi stood his ground. Mmusi became unfavorable, and of course, the project to remove him from the leadership of the DA was set into motion. There were many people who believed that I would not support Mmusi when he took over the leadership of the party. him and I had our chat and talks about it. I told him that they are going to chew him up, and then they're going to spit him out within a few years. And that is exactly what had happened. So, a person has been down this road before, where people get used as tokens. I'm no token. I've never been a token of anyone, and I will never be a token of anyone. When I joined the DA for a specific reason. As I said, I could defend the DA, and I helped to promote the DA and to build the DA. And we had young leaders such as people that you have just mentioned now, who we've groomed in the Democratic Alliance, and we've gone out under very unfavorable circumstances to grow the party, because we truly believe that we could form the DA to become a vehicle to be a broad church and to unseat the ANC. That project, quite frankly, has been abandoned by the DA. And it comes from Helen's own words when she spoke to the caucus in Johannesburg and said to them, just get used to the fact that we will be a 20% party.
Speaking about that, I asked Mike Moriarty about that, and he says Helen denies it. He does not know about that. He doesn't remember it. Refilwe Nseke, the national spokesperson, also says that was never said. So people are disputing what you are saying about what Helen is supposed to have said.
Well, were they there is a question a person needs to ask. And why are they denying what many a person is saying and knows was said into that caucus? Abel Carr wasn't speaking out of his, out of turn. He didn't fabricate something when he said that.
Did you challenge Helen when she said that?
Yes, I did. In a Fedex meeting, I did.
And what was the outcome of that?
Well, we see where I am and where I've been pushed to.
So you're saying, because yesterday you said that one of the reasons why you're facing disciplinary charges is because of your public support for Mmusi Maimane, and now you're saying another reason for that was you challenging Helen Zille on that position that the DA needs to become comfortable being a 15 to 20% party.
Second, a person needs to look at things in context. The main reason, there's a whole lot of other things that I could have spoken of. You have a short sound bite or a period of time in which to present your case and make my announcement. I didn't go through a checklist for all the things. I went for the things that I thought were pertinent and that were of interest enough and were the catalyst for the purge.
So the DA initially yesterday, in immediate reaction to your press briefing and your resignation, said that they would not release the charges, but they have subsequently changed their minds. They will be releasing those charges later on. What's your response to that, firstly? And secondly, do you care to talk about that? What were those disciplinary charges that you were facing?
Sakina, that is a mystery too. I know that there were. I received papers to choose a date, a trial date, which was between the 1st and the 5th of September, without receiving a charge sheet. So I don't know what the charges are against me in the first instance. In the second instance, you ask, because that goes against the rules of natural justice. You cannot want me to defend myself and get a defense attorney when I don't know what the charges are, yet you want to choose a trial date for me. The other thing is, but I think that relates to the Mmusi Maimane defense of Mmusi Maimane incident, and charges being laid against me for that. As far as the other charges are concerned, I don't know that they're going to have to reveal it today because I haven't seen any such charges. It's never been put to me. But here's the thing. I am prepared to face those charges in an open hearing where the media is present and let the DA prove those charges against me. I've got nothing to hide. That is my challenge to the Democratic Alliance. Even though I'm no longer a member of the party and I'm not subject to their disciplinary processes anymore, I am prepared to face those charges and for the Democratic Alliance to prove them against me in an open hearing.
Why in an open hearing, though, Mr. Moodey? Why did you choose not to go through the legal processes of the party? Why not go before the DA's Federal Legal Counsel as opposed to having it out in the open? Why did you not take that option?
Sakina, in the past I faced such things, especially when I stood for elections for leadership positions. I trusted the party, I trusted the leadership, I trusted the processes. This time around, the processes are flawed. This time around, the Federal Legal Commission has been captured, and it is being used as a tool to purge the party. And I do not believe that I would be receiving a fair trial. Of course, it would be a matter of then thereafter to terminate my membership. I leave on my terms. I am not, and therefore I'm putting it to them. I am prepared. If they're bringing it out into the public domain, they bring it out into the public domain. I am prepared to face that disciplinary hearing in a public forum, so that South Africans can see what it is that I have done wrong, and for South Africa to judge if the processes are fair.
So when you say that the Federal Legal Commission is captured by whom? Captured
by that cabal of right of centre liberals
who
wanted to start their own party. Who wanted to start their own party before the 2019 local government elections, and of course they couldn't get it off the ground.
But surely you can speak freely. You're no longer a member of the Democratic Alliance. So who are those people who wanted to start a party, and why did they want to start a new party?
Sakina, people are very libelous, and I'm not going to get into a fray of pointing fingers at everyone. You know that I have a beef with the tweets of Helen Zille, and she's one of those reasons, one of the main reasons why I don't feel comfortable in the Democratic Alliance anymore, or wasn't feeling comfortable in the Democratic Alliance anymore.
Why are you now uncomfortable with Helen Zille in the Democratic Alliance when she's been a permanent fixture of the party, as you have been for 22 years? What has changed, and when did it change?
Sakina, I think it is public knowledge about her tweets. Her tweets on the legacies of colonialism, her tweets about the fact that we as black people live with a mindset of perpetual victimhood. Her tweets on the issue of de Klerk being the sole dismantler of apartheid. Her tweets in the response to a young American girl who was reciting a poem at a Black Lives Matter rally about "Don't touch my hair" and the insensitivity that goes with it. That to me, speaks of superiorism. So a person believing that they are superior. So therefore, it reminds me of the past when a person needed to fight apartheid, and quite frankly, it just didn't sit well with me, and I indefensible. When people would ask me, "Hey, so John, do you subscribe to what Helen is saying?" Because she is a public figure, she is a prominent politician, and she occupies a prominent position in the DA. Then I have to respond and defend such utterances.
But is this new? Is this new, though? Are you saying to me that Helen Zille has now undergone some form of transformation ideologically? Is this not who Helen has always been? If you listen to some of the commentators, some of the analysts, they will tell you that this has always been who Helen Zille is, and she hasn't really changed. So to your mind, what has changed?
Well, the thing is that, when she was the leader of the party, definitely this type of behavior wasn't exposed. It has come to the fore over the past few years, and it started off with that tweet about colonialism, and when Mmusi took her on, and the rest is history. The thing is that I cannot continue, especially now that she is the leader, that she is a Federal Council chairperson. It is Helen's way or the highway. And quite frankly, I will not dance to her tune.
Hasn't that always been the case, though?
For that reason that I've become really... Sorry?
Hasn't that always been the case? Because I think you say there very facetiously, I don't believe that was a slip of the tongue. I think you meant to say that Helen is, in fact, the de facto leader of the DA.
No, that was a slip of the tongue, but you can read into it whatever you wish to, Sakina. I'm not one who dances to the tune of others. I constantly said it. I joined the Democratic Alliance having a job. I didn't join the Democratic Alliance for a job.
So just coming back to some of the things that you mentioned as well about trumped up charges, you say this was done against other former leaders like Mmusi Maimane. Was the same done against Patricia de Lille, do you believe? Because she also faced disciplinary charges when she left the DA.
I want you to have a look at the history of how the DA responds to especially black leadership that leaves the party. It is always a matter of wanting to tarnish the image and to claim that there is disciplinary charges against them. And that is why they are leaving. Or that they have done something wrong and not subscribe to the DA's principles. And that is why they are leaving. It's a history. John, it's like a script that has been written and it was regurgitated all the time.
If you're such a principled leader, why didn't you then at the time stand up and say, but these are trumped up charges against Patricia de Lille, against Mmusi Maimane? And I mean, say that in public, because all of this was playing out in public. Yesterday, you said that the DA had actually planted stories in the media to defame Mmusi Maimane and to actually tarnish his name. Why didn't you speak out against that earlier, firstly? And secondly, which papers, which media did they use to actually further that campaign?
Sakina, if you can think back a year ago, I wrote an op-ed. It went viral, quite frankly. It was on Media 24 when I came out in defense of Mmusi Maimane. I had publicly come out in support of Mmusi Maimane. I had publicly taken Helen Zille on about her tweets. Also, whenever it was necessary to come out publicly, I did exactly so. Other than that, I would fight my battles or things that I believed to be wrong and against my personal principles in the appropriate forums within the party, because mine has never been about bringing into the public domain things that are happening within the party. But when the appropriate time was there and I needed to step up to the plate, I did exactly that.
It speaks to integrity.
I came out in defense.
It speaks to ethical leadership.
I beg your pardon?
It speaks to integrity. It speaks to ethical leadership.
Yes.
Because when you charge yesterday that the DA actually embarked on a smear campaign in the media against Mmusi Maimane, it's a different thing to come out and say, you know what, I support Mmusi Maimane, I stand by him, and knowing full well that there is a concerted campaign against him. Why didn't you release those details? Why are you still not telling us, John Moodey? You're no longer a member of the DA. Tell us, where did the DA plant those stories? Which media houses worked with them in smearing and tarnishing the name of Mmusi Maimane?
Sakina, if you go and have a look at the media releases on Mmusi Maimane, one weekend it was about the car, the Fortuna. The next weekend it was about his house, and therefore throwing his credibility into question. I immediately, on the same platform, countered that by writing about the campaign against him and exposing myself to being charged. And Mmusi himself will tell you that I had come to his defense on numerous occasions, even in our federal executive meetings, and even in federal council meetings. So, Sakina, I stand by what I believe in. I will oppose bullies wherever and injustices wherever it prevails. And if you want to judge me because of the fact that I don't want to mention those media houses and things, then please do so. But I know, and South Africa knows, and within the DA they know, that I had defended Mmusi, and I had come out one of a few of the leaders who had come out publicly in defense of Mmusi.
So who in the DA was responsible for that smear campaign?
There were a whole cabal of them, and it is exactly that team of individuals who are presently in charge of the Democratic Alliance.
John Moodey, I'd love to speak to you more. Unfortunately, I have to leave it because we're out of time. But thank you so much for your time. John Moodey talking to us about the resignation from the Democratic Alliance and also about what a political analyst, Prince Mashele, had to say, giving his point of view on what's happening in the Democratic Alliance.